In today's video, we will be discussing how to embrace being alone during the spiritual awakening process. What's up, everyone? My name is Morsi, and if you're new to this channel is all about creating your own reality through your spiritual awakening process. And if you find that the words in this video resonate with you, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Now, I know the spiritual awakening process, it can feel lonely at times, and we can be alone at times too. Feeling like we're going through things by ourselves without the help that we need. But the whole point of the spiritual awakening process is to wake up to who you really are. It's to discover the strength that is already within you. You see, the thing about being alone and then feeling lonely is that they're two different things. You can be alone, that's measurable, and you can feel lonely. Something that you feel based on your perception of your reality. Because you can be lonely and still be with other people, or you can be alone and feel lonely. It's how you are perceiving your reality. Now, when we look back or think about pre-life planning, we understand that our soul pre-planned our life for us. The experiences that we go through are specific to how our soul needs to heal and the things that we need to overcome in order to fulfill our soul's destiny. And that's something that I think about quite often when it comes to my challenges, when it comes to my own ascension in the spiritual awakening process. When it comes to me trying to learn how to heal myself and comfort myself, I think about how this is the purpose of this moment. For me to be less dependent on others, to be less dependent on external validation, and to look within. Because the main goal here is to really learn self-love. And self-love comes in so many forms. Something that has been brought to my attention during the spiritual awakening process, because I learned that I had to love myself in the places that other people did not. In the places that I wanted other people to love me, I learned to love myself there. And that right there is self-love. When you love yourself, you know what it truly means to love other people. The definition of love begins to expand and you just understand more and more. Also, during the spiritual awakening process, you begin to understand your own darkness. So when you understand your own darkness, it's much easier for you to handle and understand the darkness in other people. Therefore, if you know yourself, truly know yourself, then you can understand how to accept and understand the world around you. Living life would be much easier without the complaining, without the whining, without the I wish this current moment wasn't this current moment. Because whenever we resist the present moment, we choose to suffer. And many times throughout this healing process, we feel as though we're suffering because we are choosing to resist what is happening. We are resisting the alternatives flow. We are resisting where life is trying to take us. And it's okay. That's all a part of the process. That's something that I understood. That's something that I had to learn for myself, and I'm happy I did. Now, it's also important that we think about how our external circumstances affect the way we see ourselves. Because, for example, I find that society truly glorifies relationships. Everywhere I go, whether it's a TV program or it's an advertisement or it's just this ideal thing where you're in a conversation, it seems as though people find that you're more valued when you're with other people. When you're in a relationship, when you're with a group of friends, when you're with a friend. You know, I'm very used to doing things on my own, and it's crazy when I get reactions of people saying, "You went to the movies alone? You went to the mall alone? What's wrong with being alone? And I think that that is something that we all have to ask ourselves. What's so wrong with being alone? Why is there such a stigma behind being alone? Oftentimes, being alone, it makes us confront those deep-rooted beliefs that we had been avoiding. Maybe it was because we were with other people, and oftentimes we say, you know what, I'm with this other person, I'm with these other people, I'm not really concerned about myself, I'm more concerned about them. Yeah, I'm more concerned about the other people than I am about myself. But the spiritual awakening process, it awakens you, and it says, you know, it's time for you to look within. And it's time for you to deal with these issues so that you can understand who you are. You can understand who you truly are. And so that you can break away from the ego, this false identification of who you think you are. It's very humbling because many times before the spiritual awakening process, we may think of ourselves as a certain person. We may want society to view us as a certain way, so we begin to act a certain way, a way that may not be true to who we are. So during this process, we have to step out of our comfort zone. We have to step out of this routine of the way we think, of the way we're feeling, of the way we're acting, in order to reach this point where our soul feels fulfilled, where we truly feel fulfilled, where we're not identifying with our outside circumstances, but we're starting to identify within. We're starting to identify with who we truly are. What I found in the spiritual awakening process is that strengthening of the intuition. Because what you're doing is you're alone, right? And when you are alone, there's no one to interfere with their opinions of who you are, of what you should do, of how life is, your perception of life. When you are alone during this process, you begin to build up your own principles for life. You begin to see yourself as who you are because you're breaking through these false beliefs. You're breaking through this false identification of who you are. You're breaking away from labels, and you're truly molding yourself, and you're breaking out of this box of this conditioning beliefs. I've also found that I am the best person to comfort me. And that comes along with not feeling dependent on other people, right? Not being codependent on others. Many times we must learn to be independent. And that means during the healing process, it's important that we're alone. Heck, it is important that we feel lonely so we can question why we're feeling lonely and find the beauty in being alone. Because I found that I know exactly what to do when I'm feeling a certain way, when I have to confront a certain belief, when I have to transcend an idea. I've learned that sometimes other people don't know what to say, and it's okay, they're trying their best, but I'm not going to depend on external validation. Because no one truly knows me. Only I know me. And when I begin to understand myself, I can catch on to cycles, right? Cycles of my own progress. I understand that when something happens, something else happens. I understand patterns, and I get to know and strengthen my relationship with the universe. I strengthen my relationship with that all-encompassing love that co-creates with us to create our own reality. That's the beauty of being alone. It's finding that resilience, finding that strength, and looking within. Another beautiful thing is learning to take responsibility. When you take responsibility, you have much more control over your circumstances. Because when you find that you are projecting your insecurities onto others, when you are blaming others, subconsciously you are planting this idea that you are not in control of your reality. That you are not able to create your own reality. And that goes against the nature of reality. The fact that our thoughts create our own reality, our beliefs create our own reality. That the thoughts that we keep will shift us to the reality that is at the same frequency of that idea. It goes against that, and during the spiritual awakening process, you awaken to your true power. You awaken to how you can maneuver throughout this world in order to fulfill your soul's destiny, in order to learn what true fulfillment is. in order to find out that happiness is not just around the corner. That happiness, joy, peace, and unconditional love is a choice, and that is within. You see, oftentimes during the spiritual awakening process, we stop hanging out with certain people. We are not friends with the same people we used to be friends with, or we spend less time with certain people. It might even be your family members. You just realize that you are no longer resonating with the energy of the people that you used to be around. And that could be a part of feeling alone during the process, where you have no one to relate to, you know? And when it's not that you're losing anyone, but you're making room for something better. The intentions that you put out into the universe, they are now coming to you. And so it's important that you greet this idea of a setback with joy, because it might be a gift in disguise. And during this transition process, when you feel as though you may not have any friends, you may not have anyone around you, during this time is when you strengthen your relationship with yourself. Well, you understand that you are whole just with you, and being alone is fun. Being alone brings clarity. Being alone brings strength. It brings resilience. It brings out your independence. It brings out your true power. Being alone is quite fun, and the idea of being lonely, well, that starts to fade away because you enjoy yourself. You're comfortable with yourself. You're consciously aware of the thoughts that are flowing within and out your body. We are transmitters and receivers of energy, so you become consciously aware of the energy you are receiving and the energy that you are transmitting. And oftentimes, being alone during the spiritual awakening process, it allows you to get yourself together. So when it is time for a future relationship to come along, well, then you're ready, you're healthy, and you're more likely to attract healthy relationships. Because it is important to have healthy relationships in the spiritual awakening process. It's important to have healthy relationships in any process, because that will help with your soul's fulfillment. Because the people around you, that's the energy that you are receiving. And so when you have people around you who are telling you that you can do things that maybe you don't believe you can, but you have someone believing in you, well, that will help you. You know, it's a part of understanding and knowing what a healthy relationship is for you. And during the spiritual awakening process, when you're feeling alone, you learn how to make these decisions for yourself, right? That is strengthening your intuition, strengthening that connection you have with your higher self, that connection you have maybe with your spirit guides or with your angels. And speaking of that, oftentimes when I'm feeling lonely, I remember to feel the energy of that presence, because I know that I'm not alone. I know that there is an energy, there is something that is around me that is supporting me, that is saying that no matter what I'm going through, the pain is only temporary. And that the wisdom that I will gain from this experience, well, that is eternal. And I will take that wisdom with me, not only in this life, but in whatever life I live after this. That's what it means. It's understanding the purpose of the things that you're going through. So instead of resisting the moment, ask, what is life giving me? What am I gaining? What am I getting? Because in the beginning, it could feel like torture. It could feel like you're getting the short end of the stick. But really, you are receiving what it is that you asked for. You are receiving that intention that you placed for the universe to work out for you. And before I wrap this up, I just want to say that be grateful for the fact that you're going through a spiritual awakening process. And although it might feel lonely, although you might be alone, some people don't even live a life being awakened to where we truly are, to who we truly are, to benefiting from the fact that we can create our own reality, from benefiting from the fact of self-love. Some people don't even get that chance. And I feel so grateful every day to be awakened, to be understanding of who I am, of what I can do, the power of my thoughts, the love of the people around me, my will to connect with others, That right there, that's a true gift. And so be grateful for the things that you have. Be grateful and trust your journey. Trust the process. This is all for you. Your soul created this for you. So embrace being alone and question why you're feeling lonely, and learn to love who you are, and that will stop you from feeling lonely, because you will love being in your own company with just you. So, my name is Morsi. I hope this video resonates with you, and if it did, please be sure to comment down below. If I missed anything about being alone during the spiritual awakening process or feeling lonely, be sure to comment down below. Let me know. Let's make this an open discussion. Now, also, check out these 2 videos right here in the corner, and this might be helpful for your spiritual awakening process as well. It might be helpful for you to understand that you have the ability to create your own reality. So until next time, my name is Morsi. Peace.